did so. Unbelievable, incomprehensible, but true. Friends, the topic under discussion today holds immense significance in the GST landscape. GST is still an enigma for several businesses and entrepreneurs. The ever expanding scope of GST compliance, coupled with the increased vigilance of tax authorities, has brought into focus the procedural and legal aspects surrounding summons, search, and seizure operations, fake invoice allegations, and even arrests. Businesses, irrespective of their size, now find themselves navigating in a legal minefield where the lack of awareness of rights and responsibilities can result in severe consequences. Therefore, the need to understand one's legal safeguards and compliance obligations has become more pertinent than ever. One of the major concerns in today's GST regime is the increasing number of notices and summons being issued under Section 70 and Section 122 of the CGST Act. The absence of proper procedural awareness among taxpayers often leads to panic, operational disruptions, and at times unintentional non compliance. In such scenarios, it becomes crucial to equip business and professionals with the right knowledge to ensure that their responses to such actions are both legally sound and procedurally correct. Moreover, the menace of fake invoicing has prompted the government to take strong enforcement measures. While curbing tax evasion is a legitimate and necessary objective, it is equally important to ensure that genuine businesses are not caught in the crossfire. The legal landscape in this area is also constantly evolving, shaped by various judicial pronouncements and interpretation of the GST law by courts and quasi judicial bodies. These developments impact the rights of taxpayers in significant ways. I believe that understanding these legal nuances and recent rulings is essential for all stakeholders to safeguard their interests and ensure that due process is followed. In this context, I look forward to hearing from Mittal ji on the practical implications of these provisions and how businesses can protect themselves in the face of departmental scrutiny. While there have been efforts to streamline compliance and support honest taxpayers, ground realities often tell a different story. Excessive scrutiny, inconsistent departmental actions, and procedural ambiguities, especially regarding retrospective demands and transitional credit issues, remain significant challenges. The imposition of severe penalties and arrests without adequate justification further underscores the need for taxpayers to be fully aware of their legal and constitutional rights. The seminar provides a timely opportunity to reflect on these challenges, promote a more balanced enforcement approach, and gain expert guidance on navigating these complexities within the law. Given the evolving taxation landscape, both globally and domestically, today's session holds particular relevance. Governments worldwide are intensifying efforts to widen their tax base and curb revenue leakage, and India is no exception. This focus on revenue generation has led to stricter enforcement, increased audits, and greater scrutiny of business practices. While these measures aim to improve compliance and boost collections, they also create complex challenges for businesses striving to remain compliant while being competitive. As we deliberate on the way forward, I am particularly eager to understand from our esteemed speaker how businesses can proactively protect themselves from unwarranted departmental action, manage investigations confidently, and ensures they have the legal safeguards necessary to seek appropriate remedies when required. With these words, I now invite Sri Sandeep Chauradia, Chairman, Indirect Taxation and GST Subcommittee of the Chamber, to address the seminar before Shri J.K. Mittal enlighten us with his valuable insights and expertise. Thank you.
My President, Sri Nareshji Pachisia. Friends, before I start, I'll just give a small note. I wanted that this seminar wouldn't have been held without the backing of my president. Mr. K Mittal, our guest speaker for the day, senior member of the chamber, and all the guests present. A very good afternoon. It is my honor to welcome. It is my honor to welcome you to today's seminar on inspection, search, seizure, arrest, and input tax credit available from an ab initio cancel dealer, that is retrospective cancellation, under GST law, a subject that has gained significant relevance in the current compliance and enforcement environment. The goods and service tax regime, while built on the foundation of self assessment and trust, empowers authority with substantial enforcement mechanism to detect evasion and ensure compliances. Among these, the provision relates to inspection, search, seizure, and arrest, respects some of the most powerful and at times controversial tools available to the tax administration. In this session, we aim to explore the legal framework underpinning these powers, the procedural safeguards available to taxpayers, and the evolving judicial interpretations shaping their implementations. We will also examine real world scenario and practical guidance for both taxpayer and professional on how to navigate such situation lawfully and effectively. We also hope to discuss best practice for businesses to protect themselves and the importance of due diligence and system based verification in preventing inadvertent exposure to such liabilities. Let us approach this subject with clarity and a shared commitment to law compliance. I now invite Mr. K Mittal, the guest speaker of the day, to take us forward in this enlightening session. Mittal sir.
Good evening to all of you. I wish to thank the president of the chamber, my friend Mr. Naresh Pachisia, for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to interact with all of you. And on my right hand side, Mr. Sandeep Churasya, my professional colleague as well as the chairperson of the Indirect Tax Committee. And my friends here, member of Trade and Industry. The topic of the day today is quite relevant. In fact, I would say all the topics are interconnected. If you take the summons or the arrest, the invoice allegations of the fake invoices, search, seizures, sometime you will see these happen, with the same assessee in the same line of actions, may not be necessarily to be independent. Before coming to the topics, I just want to say the few lines. First of all, my sorry for being late for a few minutes. I held up in the Calcutta High Court only. Secondly, you would have seen this month, the last month of the revenue of the GST is the highest, probably the 2,36,000 crores. It only indicates the peoples of this country is complying the legal provisions. It is not because of that there was an enforcement from the government. The government of India never share any data. They always concealed, not because of this regime, even earlier also. But if you ask them fairly, less than 2% would have come from search, seizure, arrest. If you can remember the Prime Minister's speech of 2015, what is said, मैंने रेल मंत्री को बोला है कि सब टीटी को एक दिन पे छुट्टी पे भेजो. फिर भी मेरा भारतीय इतना ऑनेस्ट है कि 99% लोग टिकट लेके यात्रा करते हैं. It also shows the compliance of the law, because what we are addressing to the member of chambers and the professionals, there cannot be in today's scenario, you think about evasion of taxes when everything is digital. Where you are sitting, what you are doing, everything in the knowledge of the government. May not be knowledge of your spouse. Therefore, this signifies. Second thing I would like to highlight the topic related to the topic only. I'm worried. Nobody would have thought once the GST will come, there would be surge in litigations. My estimate that the litigation has increased many times. If you want to hire an advocate and you want your case to be heard, only God knows whether your case will be heard or not. Therefore, there is no benefit of litigations if there is no end to that litigations. And that is a message to the central government or to the state government. Why they are fighting. And the second thing with my experience, 95% cases are frivolous. That is an important statement I'm making with my experience of the entire life. Because, please, if you can switch off the phone, don't talk, it disturb everybody. You can go outside and speak. Why I'm saying so, if the frivolous litigations is initiated, who are the sufferer? Not the government officers or the government. It's the taxpayers. Those who have paid more than 2,30,000 crores to the kitty of the government. If you harass them for frivolous litigations, I think it should pain everybody. Let's open up now the topic with this opening remarks. Whatever topic we have chosen, these are called the draconian provisions in any law. Draconian means very serious. It evade the privacy of the citizens. If somebody search your premises, if somebody arrest you, it take away your liberty. If you read all the judgment of the Supreme Court, these are the two fundamental things. Even in last 10 years, and number of judgment you can read. Therefore, these provisions should have been used in rarest cases. I have the firm belief that GST law has rightly put these provisions, because if any law don't have these kind of draconian provisions, then the honest taxpayer will suffer, because no action will be taken against the dishonest. But still, I will say the cause worries is that these are being misused by the officers. Honest taxpayers are being harassed. Dishonest are not being harassed. I'm just giving a couple of examples. My Sandeep, my friend, has taken a view, like blocking of credit or cancellation of registration with retrospective effect. Even yesterday, I said in Calcutta High Court, I never heard a PAN number of anyone is cancelled when government of India is saying the black money stretches, in the Switzerland. A persons, those who are convicted and punished, their passport is never cancelled. But the GST law has been made that merely frivolous allegations, and one Friday, a superintendent ranked officer will cancel your registration so that he can earn money. Many cases are reported, Friday he will cancel. Once his palm is greased, he will restore your registration in next 2-3 days. Then again he will cancel, because now he need more money of the same assessee. And then third time, and then fourth time. And then assessee goes to the court. Court said you restore it, but never any punishment to such kind of officer. And that is also my worry. What of the India courts? Just they pass an order, never rectified the fault so that it never reoccur. This is a challenge, in fact, for the Indian industry. If you see the summons, first topics, what is the summons? Summon has to be issued. If you read the section 70 carefully, first time they have referred the provision of the Civil Procedure Code. And if you read the Civil Procedure Code, the section 70 of the GST, I'm talking about your rights and duties. In fact, the rights are more important to know. Duties, are being compelled. Like we see that in Indian constitutions, there are fundamental rights and there are duties also. But nobody cares about the duties. Fundamental right, every mornings, no, so many petitions are being filed everywhere in the country. The summons, it says, the CPC, if you read, must contain the certain fundamental things. For what purpose I have been called upon. Because if I do not know, you invited me today here, but I do not know for what purpose, on what topics, then how I can speak? If you have been invited by officers or force for summons, you have the right to know whether you are a witness, whether you are accused, what is the case. You can't one day fine morning ask. In fact, if you see the police, if you issue a summons, call you for recording a statement, they will write FIR number. And 99% FIR is uploaded on the website so that you know. Otherwise, he will also tell you are prepared with your mind what you have to speak. If you go in CPC, suppose somebody has filed a suit against me in the court and court today issue me a summons, they will state what is the suit number. They will annex the copy of the plaint so that I know it. Then only I can speak. Now, after almost the 7 year of the GST law, recently DGCI and the government of India has issued certain instructions which we must know, and that instruction is beautifully written. But sorry state of affair is that government of India thereafter never thought that they should look into it. My comments are very hard. I am not afraid of like any industry members. You may be afraid कि निर्मला सीतारमन जी सुबह आपको बुला लेगी. ऐसे होता नहीं है लॉ में. ऐसे लाइफ में नहीं होता है. आपके अंदर फियरफुलनेस बहुत है. मैं 15 ईयर मिनिस्ट्री गया हूं नॉर्थ ब्लॉक. Mr. Pasisia has already recognized the first I met, they already tried 100 times to get the law changed. I got the law changed in within 1 minute in first instance without paying a bribe, even a single naya paisa. That is my life career. I don't feel there is any corruptions, though there is a corruption, everybody know. But because of corruptions, you never get your work done. But I won every cases without paying money. Without paying any money, I got the law changed more than 100 times. Therefore, you have to believe on yourself what you are saying. This time in the instruction, they said, summons cannot be issued for fishing inquiry. That is the right you must know about that instruction. Someone must state what subject matter of investigation is. It cannot be issued GST inquiry. It cannot be issued just I am making, some kind of tax evasions like this. They must state. But unfortunate part is that since that instruction has come, probably not even one summon was issued in the entire country which has compliance with this instruction. You must understand it. Now your fundamental right is that if you know about that instruction, I will tell you the instruction number and date, the instruction, then you have to write back to that officers that as per this instruction, which you are bound to follow it, you cannot issue me a summon like this for fishing inquiry or without stating, what are subject matter of inquiry. You must state. I can assure you that if out of 100 summons, all 100 SSC will write, 90% cases is fairly that officer will not write back or reissue a summons. That is my experience. Because he want to make money, he will understand you know the law, you know your right, you know that instruction which is bound to follow. Therefore he said, यहाँ से पैसा नहीं मिलना है, तो leave it here only. 10% people in India will always pay the bribe. In fact, if someone comes, he will go with the envelope, with the money, how to, pay the money. So that you have to keep in mind. If you know that things, that you can get rid of it. Second thing I would like to tell, you also write independently. Don't copy it to the senior officers. You have issued these instructions. These are supposed to be followed in letter and spirit. These are not being followed. Your officers are violating it. If the summon copy is annexed, then his inquiry will internally start. And he will never do in lifetime such an act.
But we don't want to tell anything to any officers. Suppose today somebody has committed a crime. If you don't approach a police, can any investigation be done? Can a FIR be registered? Can any punishment be awarded? Therefore, if the assessee will say, no, 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 I can't write a letter, then why we are discussing here what is my rights? Because the rights come under the law only. If a fundamental right is violated, I approach to the court. Recently, Calcutta High Court given a decision, which is, I think, day before yesterday, approved by the Supreme Court. Only I read the headline. They affirm the decision of the Calcutta High Court. If in a one building, many people are living without the consent of everyone, you can't put a CCTV camera because the privacy of a person goes. So if the fundamental right is violated, it will not automatically come in your hand. You have to approach to the court by writing. Somewhere you have to approach. Therefore, if the summons are being issued, and if you see in 2007, first instruction was issued, 2015, second instruction was issued, in 2022, third instruction was issued. Thereafter, this instruction has come. In all the three instructions which I told you, first in the Congress regime, 2007, when I was the PhD chambers, chairman of indirect tax committee, I approached. 2015, when Mr. Modi invited the people should write us, I wrote a letters. These are being frivolous, people are being harassed. Then it came in 2015. 2020, when the GST people supposed them, we are still being harassed. They repeated all earlier two instruction on the summons. It says, summon only can be issued by taking approval in writing from the senior officers. I'm sure 50% of you may not be aware unless until you are professional like Mr. Sandeep, who I have to help all you. Therefore, how it will be known? It will not be known to us. But if you challenge that someone, the court will ask the record to be produced. We should know about it. Secondly, it has to give reason, I have already told. Thirdly, the Nirmala Sitharaman has done a very wonderful job. They made the DIN compulsory for every communications, document identification number. Let me give one example. During COVID time, about a dozen company approached to me. They were summoned by the GST officers. And I found that the same DIN number was mentioned in every summons. It is not the one company. It was a different company. They came together because there was an association of those, because they were from the similar trade. That's why I came to know. I said, probably you can get a relief by writing my letter to the finance minister. I immediately wrote to the finance minister instead of approaching to the court. I wrote under my signatures. Though all these letters are confidential, but under RTA you can get it from the ministry also. And I am always blunt. I wrote, what is the benefit of making compulsory DIN number? In all the summons, same DIN number is there. And I'm enclosing the copies of that. You won't believe, in September 2021, entire verification of DIN was changed from the Ministry of Finance. You can check it prior to 2020 September and after that. Now many columns are there. So if you will investigate your DIN number, most of the times you will find it is fake. I'm making an official statement. I can be held responsible for that. Why I'm saying, with any clients, any number of clients comes to my office, I ask my office first to verify. Why I'm saying fake? Most of the times it will say the name of the assessee blank, address of the assessee blank. How there could be blank? How I will come to know? If the government of India make certain columns in the verification list, why it will come blank? Suppose you are supposed to fill up any form. Can you leave any form blank? That shows the first fundamental thing. Secondly, the DIN has to be auto-populated on your summons. If it is not auto-populated, it is manually written. Why it is manually written? When it should be computer generated. I ask my other colleagues, those who practice in the other side of the law, like maybe income tax, corporate law. In the Companies Act, If the DIN number you open for verification, entire summon will be reflected, entire document will be reflected on the website. It automatically will reflect whether it is genuine or not. But in GST, it will not come. Why the DIN number is mentioned manually? These are your fundamental, the rights you can say. The duties in respect of the summons. If the summons comes, you are supposed to appear. But let me give as a professional advice. Don't fear about the summons. क्योंकि यहाँ summons की जो value कब रहती है? देखिए, if Prime Minister every day address to the nations, you will not hear him. But if he address once a while, you are eager to hear. So someone has some credibility, which has lost in the GST law. Why it has lost? Because no company, no assessee in the entire country where the central excise officers, central tax officers will not issue a summons. All Navratna companies, Navratna means 100% owned by the government of India, which give the maximum revenue to the government of India. You ask the Oil India, how many summons are issued to them? Maybe they will say at least a dozen summons every year. Within Kolkata, one day, a senior most government officer was with me on the podiums about 10 years before. And since then, I stopped going to the North Block. I asked that officers, these are the government of India companies. You issue them the summons alleging tax evasions. These are your own sons and daughters. If you can, make such a frivolous allegations against government of India company, how bad you could be for the private sector companies. But at the same time, you asked the CBDT, those who are handling income tax, probably they would not have any summons in last 40 years, not even a one summons to these companies. So there are something seriously wrong with your department, because these are the two sides of the same coin. If the income tax said there is no need to issue summons, either income tax is, sitting idly, they are not doing against anything against tax evader, or income tax is doing their duty bona fidely and rightly, they feel there is no need. Then the GST peoples are harassing the citizen of this country. You take a steps, but only on papers. In income tax side, you will never find any such instruction how the summons should be issued. Why there is a need arise in the GST? Every after few years, you have to issue a guideline and never ensure that these guidelines are being followed or not. Rest, I am leaving on you. How you view it about the GST. I told you, I will just give the instruction number, which I have just noted down when I was coming to, the chamber. Para 6, you can read of the instruction dated 8th February 2024. 8th February 2024, para 6 you can read. This is the instruction issued by the Directorate General of GST Intelligent. The name says intelligent, but if the record, if you will see for last 70 years, they are not intelligent. Because who are the intelligent peoples? If they lost 90% cases, still you will say intelligent. Intelligent peoples who won 90% case. Because people never says me intelligent. I never lost any case in Calcutta High Court for 22 years. But still, I'm looking forward somebody should say I'm intelligent. But these people are intelligent because the name. This instruction, subject matter is the guideline for conducting investigation in certain cases. The long instruction, you can read it and then you will find what exactly they have said. Next is search and seizure. Very interesting. Because if any times a search is happened, to my mind, not only it take away your liberty, it malign your reputation also. Again, you will see in GST or previous law is the excise service tax. Carrying out the search in indirect taxes is so common, like you are eating out a food every day. Again, I raise certain questions because I'm a chartered accountant too. I read income tax law also. In income tax, if you ask any officers, Mr. Mittal is very blunt against the department and carry out a search, they will never do it in their lifetime, because their search procedure is that, which I again told by my counterparts, those who practice in that side of the law. I recently pick up the few cases of income tax of high stake matters. They said in income tax, search is being approved by the highest officer, sometime by the Ministry of Finance itself. But here is somebody, suppose in a restaurant today in Taj Bengal, and he has not been offering a quite generous to the GST officers a ice cream as a complimentary. Next day, there is a probability of carrying out a search. So frivolous. How it could happen? Why not you have the same kind of parameters as you have in income tax? Am I correct or incorrect? If income tax, you cannot carry out the search so frivolously. If you approach them, ki I have evaded a tax 100 rupees every day, I have put a board in my house, and you ask the income tax department to carry out a search, still they will not do it. They said, though we are not a chartered accountant, but we have the cost benefit analysis. Our entire search team will go just to find out a few thousand rupees. We will not. But in GST, they will definitely do it. They feel like that ki 100 rupees is very important. Once upon a time, they issued a so-called notice for demanding 2 rupees. I said, how much time you have wasted in that? How much post charges are there? Thereafter, ministry issued an instruction on my behest. I used to take up a lot of cause in the ministry. They said, at least for 100 rupees, less than 100 rupees, you should not have issued. Same minister is there, finance minister. Finance ministry has two wings, direct and indirect taxes. Indirect taxes has given it 2,36,000 crores. When late Mr. Arun Jaitley got 99,000 crores, he was quite happy. But how indirect tax works and which media should report? Once there was a 2 lakhs crore rupees was, collected under GST. Next headline was the Ministry of Finance was that we have instructed every officer in the country to carry out the survey. I said, learn from the corporate. If target was 99,000 crores, if they would have won 2 lakhs crores, the corporate would have said, let's have a party. You are doubting everybody. Why I will pay 2,30,000 crores? You never honor me. Has any industry member has been honored by the Ministry of Finance paying GST? I have the client. He said income tax department has given me the highest taxpayers this certificate. What I will do with that? Because GST people are chasing me like anything. I am the most tax evader in this country. First, they should reconcile each other's. You can't have in one hand a best taxpayers award. Other hand, you want to malign his reputations. If you don't want I should carry on business, why I will pay you more taxes? How I will pay? Rather, the income tax department will issue me a next day a notice that this year your tax revenue is less. It has to be less because my entire officer team is sitting in GST department. They are chasing me. If anybody can deny these facts, can you ask a Ministry of Finance? Therefore, the search and seizure, if you see, the one fundamental aspects you see under 132(4) of the Income Tax Act, 132, or the section 67(2). I think the most concise section of the search is there in the GST law. Main provision is of just 5 lines. Income tax, if you read section 132, probably you will sleep because it many pages, search provisions. But practice is totally reverse. Income tax, as I told, the search rarely happen. But that 4-line section, they feel has an immense power. We can have a frivolous search. Now I am just highlighting the few aspects which is your right and duty. You can count upon that. in income tax, search can be conducted if you don't obey the summons and if you evade taxes. Now the question is that suppose I evade GST, which will be new to everybody in this whole let me tell you. Can a search be conducted? Search can never be conducted under GST law, even if there is allegation of evasion of GST. Which is not I am saying, this the section is saying. What the section says, if the goods is liable for confiscation, then the search can be conducted. The secondly, they are saying, if there are certain documents, records, or the things which is liable to be seized and relevant for the proceeding under the GST law, only then search can be conducted. This section 67(2) never said that search can be conducted for evasion of taxes. Let me repeat, this GST law is now 8-year-old baby. You would have read this section more than 100 times, but you would not never notice it. अब कभी कभी मैं मजाक में कह देता हूं, मैं माँ सरस्वती की वंदना सुबह उठ के रोज करता हूं, तो शायद माँ सरस्वती, something give me the light to read these things in that. It is not I am rewriting that provisions. That shows, something is not written. The why? So therefore, fundamental law is that if something not written in the law, something is not empowering the officers, they cannot do it. Suppose I am stealing something here. The criminal law never, make it is an offense. Can a police take any action? Answer is no. Like the wearing of the seat belt long time back was not a punishment. So I was not supposed to wear the seat belt. But now it is punishable. Therefore, unless until the law says, officer cannot conduct. However, if you tell these things to the court, tell anything to the, any officers, they will say, ऐसे थोड़ी होता है. If the person is evading tax, फिर search नहीं होगा. नहीं. You can give if you read the law carefully. Prior to the search, there is another provision under section 67(1) that is called the, in loosely language, survey. In GST, it is called inspection. If that section you read it, if they feel the assessee has not paid the tax rightfully evading, they have to carry out the inspection. The inspection is totally different. After inspection, if they feel a search to be carried out, then they can do it. Therefore, Delhi High Court captured this in one judgment's Deepak Khandelwal. If you read the Deepak Khandelwal judgment, you will find this distinction between 67(1) and 67(2). That judgment was supposed to be, heard with my decisions in C. Arvind Goel case, but it was segregated later on. That you can read it. There is a distinction between these two. Therefore, you have a right. Why these provisions are made in such a fashion? Because recent decision of Radhika Agarwal, we will discuss about the arrest also. You will come